Welcome to the Artist Loft, the talk show for all artists. Join us each show as we spotlight a variety of different creatives, hosted by the Florida Arts Network, with Richard Sosa and Frank A. Ruffolo.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Artist Loft with Richard Sosa.
Frank Ruffolo, how you doing? We're back again.
Yeah. We're back again talking about all things art, and we have a really special guest with us today. But before we do that,
I want to let everybody know there's a special promotion going on here at the studio. Come down to the studio weekdays between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Buy one of my books. You'll be entered into a drawing that's going to take place on December 20th, and the winner will win my complete library of all the books I publish. So, books make great gifts for the holidays. Step on by the studio and buy some books.
Well, but if they win it as a gift and then they give it away again, isn't that like a regift?
That's like a regift.
Yeah. And you have what, like 12, 13 books, right?
I have 12 books, and they will also get the 13th, which will be coming out probably by the beginning of next year. So they'll get 13 books.
Very cool. And let me tell you, the books, amazing. And he covers like all these different genres. So you're going to find something that you're gonna like.
Right. And one of our books right now we're going to be made into a movie. So
yes, it's a book called Stuck in Traffic. It's a film about human trafficking. Deals with organ harvesting, indentured servitude, this kind of thing, and the people that are involved in it.
right,
I'm not going to name names because, you know.
Right here in the U.S. of A.
Yeah, we don't want to be killed by suicide.
Yep.
So, all right. So, our special guest today is a man that I met. Oh, what? 12 years ago?
Yeah, we
like
both
that?
met about 12 years ago at the table.
Yeah, at the Florida table. Kenny MagChop
Chops Ruiz.
Yeah, and there he is.
He's even on book covers and in books.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
At least I try to be.
Yeah, welcome to the studio, Kenny.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, when I first met Kenny, he was telling me about the type of art that he did, collage art. And I'm like, what in the world is collage art? He's like, well, you know, I'm going to be having an exhibit at this rooftop in Miami. This is, why don't you come on down and check it out? So I did, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away.
That's right.
Yeah, so remember I was there with
Yes.
Marina? Yep. And now some of his artwork is in these cups. This cup right here is mine. My cup. I actually bought two of them. Yeah, there we go. I actually bought two of them in case clumsy me dropped one and broke it. You know, because this one's been discontinued, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to check out his whole line of stuff. So Kenny, why don't you tell us what got you into collage art?
Well, I used to draw. I grew up doing graffiti, you know, in Chicago and everything like that. And so I was just like an artist always my whole life, and never thought about making a career of it or anything like that. But I was always an artist. I would look at a page, and blank paper or wall, and I would see already the artwork done, and I was basically just tracing what I saw in my mind. And after my mom passed away, I didn't have that anymore. It's like everything was blank, but I still had all these wild artistic images in my mind. And so I had done this piece called First Impression years earlier. And I did it because of the fact that I wanted something in my house that represented like really me and who I was as a person and some of my life. So when my mom passed away and I was having trouble with doing the artwork, creating my artwork, my wife said, why don't you create another collage? That other one you did, maybe it'll help kick back. So I started making them. Whenever like my family liked them, I'd frame it and hang it up. And so what ended up happening was I met Steve Stock, and he was the guy that branded the Marlins. He's the founder of Guy Harvey. Mm-hmm. And he's at my house, and he tells me he had never seen collage art like mine, that I should get it out there. And that's pretty much what started a lot of the journey.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's crazy work.
Tedious work, but lovely work.
Yeah. Okay. So explain the process, because
Before we go into that, people, if you're listening, call 888-994-4995, Studio A.
yes, if you
Say
have
hello.
any-
You have a question for Kenny, drop us a line and say hello.
Yep, there you go. So now explain the process, because some people might look at it and go, "Wow, that's interesting." Okay, but they may not appreciate all the work that goes behind it.
Yes. So you got to think about it like this. In my mind, I already know what this piece looks like. So now I have to go and I search through images and things like that to find what it is that will fit what I see in my mind, or the closest thing to it. And so you just never know. Like the piece that's on the screen now, that's first impression. That was the first one that was made. That piece right there is called Facing the Paradox. I knew I need to figure out how to make this crazy. It was music.
I love that piece.
The music notes are from an actual music magazine, and it's Four Horsemen by Metallica.
Yeah.
And then first impression, that was the first one, and I wanted something that really represented who I was as a person. It's like you see that my mom oversees everything from the middle. I have 3 sisters, 3 blood sisters, and then, I put a lot of heart and soul into everything I do. I build lowriders, it says Boulevard on there. I cruise the Boulevard. I did graffiti, so you see there's like spray paint influence there. When I was younger, I joined a gang. It says gangster across the top because that was part of the life that I lived. So,
yeah.
And there's a lot more to that piece. So you really that's a simple breakdown of it, but my pieces tell a story. And so when people finally see them and they're like, oh, wow, wait a minute, there's more here than just images thrown together.
Yeah.
It's a story. And that's really what it's all about.
And you use scissors to cut these things out, right?
Yeah.
Not an X-Acto knife.
No, because I'm clumsy, and whenever I try using an X-Acto knife, I cut through whatever is below it. I cut my fingers. Like, it's always a mess. So, sometimes I'll make little cuts with, like a razor blade or something, but yeah, it's bad. And because I treat an X-Acto knife like a pen, so I end up with this cut in the middle of my finger because I'm pressing down on it. So forget about it. Scissors is the way to go for me.
That's hysterical. And you have another piece that I really like. I don't remember the name of it, but it's women-centered.
So yeah, there's one that's called Ladies Touch, and there's one that's called Through Her Eyes.
Oh no, Through Her Eyes. I think
probably
it's Through Her Eyes.
Yes, that piece was actually named by everybody on my page on Facebook. I did this thing, and I was like, I don't know what to name this piece. And so everybody started submitting names, but then other people were liking other names. So I took those names, and I was like, all right, these are the ones I'm looking at, and Through Her Eyes won.
And framing is important as well.
Yes, framing, like I have one piece called Dark Side. It's the only Star Wars-based piece that I have. And it's framed right now in just a simple frame. Mm-hmm. But I have a really grand idea for the frame, because it's got to be moving. You know what I mean? I have a piece called Iron Freedom, which is the one on your mug.
Yeah.
And that piece, the frame, is actually, you got an exhaust that runs around the top of the frame, and then at the bottom it crisscrosses, and you actually have Harley Davidson handlebars on the frame. And I mean, it took a long time to make that. It was, this guy Eric that I knew made it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it's
there it is.
It's my favorite. Yeah, there we go. It's my favorite piece.
But you don't just do collage art. You also do book covers and movie posters.
Yes.
And now you're getting into sportswear and putting your collage on sportswear.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting journey. I started off with just the artwork, and I was like, okay, well, selling art is great, but it's difficult. And so, if this is going to be my career, I need to figure out what am I going to do to make the artwork sell, and what else, because my goal was like, all right, I want to get my start off with the United States. I want a piece of MagChop in every house in the United States. How do I do it? And I was like, well, coffee mugs. Everybody drinks mugs, but mugs are so small all the time. So I went and I was looking through the mugs. When I saw these, they had a big handle on them. It was like, and I saw the clarity in the artwork, and I was like, man, this is really good. So I called it the MagChop 15-ounce collection, because they're not coffee mugs. They're actually 15-ounce beer mugs.
Yeah.
but they're great for, you know, anything, tea, coffee. I sell a lot of them to fire departments because they like a big cup of coffee. Fire department.
Yeah.
So we got to keep those guys awake. So, so you know, it works. You know, and so what I do is at the end of every year, one mug retires and a new one is added to the collection. But there's always 7 in the collection.
Yeah, and I appreciate it too because I love my coffee. Now, I'm not drinking coffee all day long. Could you imagine me on coffee all day long?
No.
No.
Oh my! Although somebody told me one time, I would pay to see that.
Yeah.
Right? So I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, right? Usually just before I go
So
to the
do
gym.
you use that one? Because
I use
it's probably
this one,
2.
but it's Cuban coffee.
You fill that mug with Cuban
I
coffee?
fill this up with Cuban. Yeah, I know. I should have
that's why
had a
he's like
heart
this
attack
the way
a long
all day
time
long.
ago.
The fact is, Richard died 3 years ago. The coffee keeps him alive.
I know, right? I'm leading the zombie apocalypse, just nobody knows about it yet. But yeah, no, I fill the thing up with Cuban, but they give us.
He'd outrun the zombies.
Yeah,
He'd be like, come on, guys.
I would. Come on. Dale, vámonos, ponte la pila.
Speedy Gonzalez.
En the fastest más en all of Mexico.
But
I know it's good, but they give us Cuban coffee in our baby bottles. You know, we're used to that. Yeah, I'm Cuban American, so you know it's like
there it is.
yeah, there it is.
But yeah, once I started doing that, and then I was like, all right, what else can I do? You know, so I started like going. I was like, let's go into movies. Let's see if I can get it as memorabilia. And so whenever I was on set, the producer or director would say, hey, you want to be in a role? Like, I got a role for you. And I had never done any acting before, and I was like, man. I ended up on set one time just because I was like, I wanted to see what it was like to be on a movie set. And the guy was like, yo, not for nothing, but you kind of look like a bad guy. You want to be in the film? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so then they were like, you know, can you do the poster? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it just started, and I was like, you know, I just started doing everything, and I was like, okay, what can I do next? You know, and so why not fashion? I had a friend of mine was telling me, he's like, yo, my wife loves your artwork. She wants to wear it on a bathing suit. And before you knew it, I'm doing Miami Swim Week. You know? And
Yeah.
it was wild. So I've done.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, look at that. And you know what's funny is the reaction of people. Like the first time that they see your work. Remember when we were up in Orlando
Yes,
for that fashion?
for the fashion show.
People were freaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Totally freaking out.
They were
Like,
freaking out in
what is
Miami
this?
too, in Miami show.
Yeah. I don't think anybody expected it to look the way it did and to come out the way it did. And you know, when it came to my fashion, I really thought about where the placement of the art was going to be, and I thought about what looks good on a woman because I want it to look good. I want it to be flattering. You know what I mean? The material. I did a radio show I got interviewed on, and the girl had just come from working out, and she had leggings on, and you can basically see the sweat lines. She was like, "I'm so sorry, but you know, I came from working out." And I remember thinking, man, I don't want to make leggings that do that. So I researched materials. What's going to dry a certain way? There's materials that absorb so that you don't get that, and that's what I used. A lot of leggings that I saw were see-through, and although I enjoyed it, my wife and daughter are not going to be wearing see-through stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I made sure that, you know, if you're wearing my leggings and you bend over, nobody's going to see what you had for breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break now, and we'll come back. We'll talk to Kenny more about his acting career. And if you want, just give us a call at 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll see you in a few.
Ever needed a good read? Maybe a book to keep your mind off things. Frank A. Ruffalo is an internationally known author and accomplished screenwriter. He's written many successful novels with amazing stories. Fiction adventures like The Lady of the Harbor, The Trihedral of Chaos, Gabriel's Chalice, 10048, and many more. For more information, visit www.frankaruffalo.com, or you can find Frank Ruffalo on Amazon.
All right, we're back. See, we told you it was going to be a short break. We're back with Kenny, and so what are your plans? Because you've done the collage art. you've done the fashion, you've done the acting. It's like, dude, what's next?
I don't really know, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I do have a gallery exhibit at Art Serve Fort Lauderdale. It starts tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. It's the oldest and biggest gallery in Broward County. I have a full exhibit during their members exhibit. So I have an art piece that's out in the main lobby for the members exhibit, and then I have my own gallery on the left in the inside that shows everything MagChop, and it's really, really amazing to be a part of it. It's called Soul Perception at Art Serve Fort Lauderdale. So you guys should all
And we're going to be there.
Yep, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll be there.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be. Why don't you tell everybody how they can get tickets and all this other stuff?
So if you go on Eventbrite, it's Soul Perception is SOLE Perception. I'm not going to try to spell that because I'll probably screw it up and embarrass myself. But Soul Perception, go on Eventbrite and get your tickets. Come on down. It's from 6:30 to 8:30. We have a lot of South Florida entertainers that are going to be there. Some celebrities will be there, and I have Nico Nation is going to be the DJ. Joe Rubo will be in the house. So there's going to be a lot of cool people down there. It's going to be a great time. You're going to be able to see everything about my art, my fashion, my movies, everything.
Yeah, and so you've done, okay, oh my gosh, he's just done so much. It's ridiculous. It's just you're a beast, man.
I feel like, when I'm working on this stuff, I don't feel like I'm at work. So it's just I'm having a great time doing everything. And I mean, the fashion shows they're very trying. I mean, it's going to test you in every way.
I could imagine.
Some of it in the show in Orlando. When I did Chicago, the fashion show in Chicago, the thing about Chicago fashion shows, they don't allow people from outside the state to show. So I had to prove that I was actually from Chicago. They researched to make sure I was actually a Chicagoan.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and that's how I was approved to show in Chicago. So it was a really big deal to be able to go home to my neighborhood in an area that used to be so hood. It was Wicker Park. It used to be so, it was the first time I got beat up was in Wicker Park. And
fond memories.
Yeah, but to go there now and run my models on a stage there with my artwork was really amazing. It was just a great feeling.
Yeah, but you've also had run-ins with some people that were kind of sketch. Right?
Yes,
I remember one in particular with Cannes.
Yes, the Cannes Film Festival. I lost a lot of money in that because we had this guy. They had everything set up. I was with 50 other designers. They were doing it was a 3-day show. I had the Saturday thing, and then they had the gala where we were going to have all my artwork going to decorate. And so the guy ended up getting into some kind of legal trouble, and he took everybody's money and skipped town.
Oh.
And we didn't find out. I didn't find out until I was about to ship my art to France. And I was like, I got this bad feeling. So I called my operations manager at the time, and I was like, hey, listen, I know you can poke holes and stuff. Find out what's going on. I got a bad feeling. She's like, okay, I'll research. She called me back right away. She was like, he was just indicted. We're in trouble. And I unfortunately lost all that money. I lost, it was quite a bit of money. So it really,
well, you're lucky you didn't send your artwork. You would have lost that too.
I'm so glad I didn't send it. But I actually called Celia from Planet Fashion TV. And I told her, I said, hey, listen, this is the situation. And I told her, she goes, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be renting a yacht from them. And I said, don't do it. Don't give them any money. So she was like, okay. She stopped everything because she told me one of the guys keeps calling me and telling me. And I'm like, no, he's associated with him. I know that number. So then they stopped answering when she told them, no, I'm not going to do it. And she went to Cannes because she puts on a festival there, a fashion show there. And the boat wasn't there. We're supposed to be. It was never there. So she was really happy. I saved her from that one. So was I.
Yeah, I know. Dodged the bullet.
So tell us, near the end of the show, tell us what's coming up for you in movies. Anything you can talk about that you're going to be in, or anything you can't talk about and you're going to be in?
Yes, so I just auditioned for Ruiz of Hustletown. It's going to be filmed here in Florida and between Florida and Houston. And so it looks very promising for me to be able to announce that I'll have a part there. And I'm working on Northside simultaneously with Juan Vasquez. And in Northside, Angel Salazar, who played Chichi on Scarface, plays my father. which is really cool.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah,
That
and working
is
with him
very
was
cool.
really cool. And then I'm also shooting side effects with John Vargas down here in South Florida, and I got a couple other projects that I've signed on for. I just can't talk about yet.
Yeah, John Vargas. See, he's another one that I'd like to get on the show. I'd like to get some of the local filmmakers on here, and I've known John for forever.
Yeah, John is like one of the best directors
Yeah.
down in Florida.
Yeah.
I love watching his work, his
Yeah,
stories.
I remember John from the table.
Yeah. That's where I met everybody. Everything started at the Florida
at the
table.
Florida table.
And it was funny because I got invited by Alexandra Bayo.
Yeah.
That's who invited me. And the day that I was going there the first time, she couldn't make it. She called me, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was about to pull in. She's like, I'm not going to make it." And I'm like, "But don't worry, go in." and they'll talk to you. I ended up meeting Jody DePriest that day. I walked up to his table, and he was with the Diane, I think is her name. She had she was her photographer. She beat cancer.
Oh, I know you're
Mia.
talking.
What is her name?
Mia Carey?
No.
No?
I know who he's talking about.
I can't think of her name.
I'm terrible with names.
So am I. I
Yeah.
forget mine if I didn't hear it every day. So
Yeah, I know. People are always yelling my name at me, so that's how I remember it.
But yeah, that's how I met Jody. That's how I got. Then Jody introduced me to Rose Warner, and I mean this is what kicked off the career. Was all those people that I met that day.
Yeah, and it's amazing how just one connection can be life changing.
Absolutely.
Because
And you know what
I
else?
mean-
But you got to do good business. And I think that I do good business. I'm honest with my products. I'm honest with everything that I do. And I think that that's one of the things, I tell people that one of the most important things you could do if you own a business is build good, honest relationships with people. Because it makes the difference on what doors are going to open for you or not.
Yeah, and you're on top of it. You are on top of your business.
I try to be, man, but sometimes I feel burnt out.
Yeah, I know. See, I'm like a squirrel. I'm very ADHD, and I'm like a squirrel. And squirrels lose track of 80% of the nuts that they bury. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I have a tough time with it. I set alarms and calendars, things, and just, oh my gosh.
I got to tell you, though, I love the idea that I'm on Frank's book. Because
You're
I
also
remember when
in-
I
you're
met
also in the
Frank,
book.
and I'm in it, the stories, and it was, I got asked about some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's sensationalized,
Yeah, maybe some of it was embellished a little bit, but
But, it was an honor for Frank to call me and ask me to do it and to have me on his book cover. And,
Oh, it's an honor for you to do it, be on there.
And then he came when he was at Miami Fashion Week, and when I did Miami Swim Week, and he was like, "I have a really good idea,"
That's what, when I got the idea at the Fashion Week, when I was there and I saw the show and the whole thing, I said, I got a great idea for my next book.
And he
what was
did
I
it.
doing that day? Why didn't I go?
I don't know. You were busy.
I know. I've got so many different things going on at one time. But okay, I just realized. Okay, so the other thing that you have that we haven't talked about, radio show.
Yes. So I was on the Six Bro radio show for a while, and now we're working on a radio show called Hollywood Engaged, something like that we're working on with Joe Rube. But I've actually spoken to Freddie. We're thinking about doing something, something special. So we're going to be meeting soon about that. So yeah, one of the things that I love is radio. I love being on the radio. So yeah, I definitely want to be on. And it's funny because all the things that I've done, right? When I'm an artist, I've always been an artist, but I never wanted to be going into galleries and showing my art and selling my art and doing any of that stuff because it was just about me. It was personal to me.
Yeah.
And here I am doing that. And then if you would have told me 10 years ago, hey, you're going to be a fashion designer, I'd have been like, nah, bro. And there I was doing the biggest fashion shows. And then, being on movie posters and being in these films and never taking an acting class. Even when I took drama in school, I worked in the background creating the scenes. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I didn't want to be, so I had to get comfortable with being in front of a camera. But of all the things that I've done, none of them I dreamed about doing. The one thing I actually thought about doing when I was growing up was being on the radio.
And here you are.
And here it is. So it's exciting to be in these talks and have been on the radio, got the experience, and now be talking about. But I'm always insecure about like, man, what if I run out of things to say? Freddie's like, you always got something to say. I'm like, what if I don't?
Yeah, you're Hispanic. You'll never run out of things to say.
Isn't that the truth?
I mean, come on. We can keep conversations going forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely forever.
And it'll be fun. And I always have, so that's what we're working on. But I definitely want to be back on the air because I love it.
Yeah. It really is. It really is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I love being in front of the camera. It's just, I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera when I was 5.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I hear these stories like that, and it's like, wow, I never thought about that. I never wanted to do it.
I never thought about it either.
But I feel like I'm able to do it because growing up in Chicago, you're going from neighborhood to neighborhood sometimes, you got to be able to blend in. So I feel like I've always had to act a certain way. When I'm in school, I had to act a certain way. When I'm with my boys, I'm acting a certain way. When I'm with my family, I'm acting a certain way. So, it's like there's always these little things that you hide from people. And so when you're in screen, I'm just like, to me, it's like, oh, I'm just blending in. I'm becoming this other. But it's a little bit deeper than that because sometimes, like, with the Squad, I play a detective. And it was like I had to think about. I watched.
You were on the other side.
Yeah, I was watching how police officers move and walk. I thought about the experiences I've had with them. So tried to have that cocky walk that they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of mimicked that, and then I did a play.
Oh yeah, you were telling us about that before the show.
I did a play. The thing was, I thought it was just gonna be films. This guy who's like, Developing Dreams Foundation, this guy Pablo Malco, and he's like, I'm really good friends with him.
I know Pablo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've known him forever.
Pablo's
I actually
great.
took some classes with
He
him.
used to be Jason Derulo's choreographer.
Yeah, he's an amazing choreographer,
Yes,
that guy.
amazing. And so he calls me up and he's like, hey, I'm doing the showing tomorrow and my actor quit on me. Can you fill in? I'm like, yeah, sure. I didn't know it was a play. I thought it was it was going to be recorded. So I'm like, we got this, take after take, line, whatever. So I get there and, he sent me the script the night before. I read over it, but I didn't I was out when he sent it to me. So I was like, man, I'm out right now. Like, I read it and I was like, I'll read it again later. I got home, I read it again. Just kind of got the gist of it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, when we're about to start, he's like, all right, get ready, 30 minutes, we're going to do this. I saw all these people filing in. And I'm like, oh, are those extras? They're like, no, it's our audience. I'm like, what? So it was funny, but one of the things that I took was from this guy I worked with, that whenever he talked, he would give me these meetings, he'd do this. So I did that at the end of the thing. They were like, wow, you really
That's
did good.
hysterical.
It was great. So
We got to cut off. We got like 2 minutes.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes left. Kenny, thanks. Time has gone by so quickly.
Fast.
yes,
Thanks for coming on the show.
time flies when you're having fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and whenever we get together, man, it's just
forget about it. I really appreciate
crazy.
you guys having me. If your audience can go ahead and follow me at MagChop, MagChop. Everything's MagChop. That's how you find me.
That's right.
There you go.
I'll follow you back.
Yeah. All right. Kenny Ruiz, MagChop.
Chops Ruiz.
Super talented. Look him up. We are this show is done through the Florida Arts Network, which is a 501c3 nonprofit for the arts. We want to bring the arts back to kids. That's our website right there at the bottom of your screen, floridaartsnetwork.org. And we're always looking for help. We need help with volunteers, with interns, finances, because we need to help these kids, and unfortunately it costs money to do it.
And
So-
we're looking for sponsors, so we're hoping to bring this to a weekly show instead of a bi-weekly show. So contact us, we'll put you on the air, and for as little as $75, you can be a sponsor.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Thank you for watching The Artist Loft. Make sure to tune in next time for another great show. A show that was produced by Ant Media Productions and hosted by the Florida Arts Network with your hosts Richard Sosa and Frank A. Ruffolo.